Thanks for joining us. 1 year ago today, Justine Damon was shot and killed by a Minneapolis police officer.
That officer, Mohammed Noor, is awaiting trial after pleading not guilty to third-degree murder and manslaughter charges. But tonight, Justine Damon's family and friends say they're still fighting for justice. Sharon Yu is here now with more. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Camille. Several people from the Fulton neighborhood gathered to celebrate the memories of Justine Damon Ruszczyk, and many of the speakers remarked that during this past year, a lot has changed, not just for them, but also for the police departments around them. They all stood next to the alley where Damon was killed in July of 2017 and talked about the positive energy she always brought to the neighborhood and to the people around her. By speaking about the anniversary of her death, community activists were also able to talk about the changes that came after in the way police conducted themselves, not just in Minneapolis, but also around the Twin Cities. They also brought up the names of others who have been killed by police, including Thurman Blevins Jr., Philando Castile, and Jamar Clark, and most recently, Archer Amorosi from Minnetonka.
We have to demand accountability, which means asking for an audit of the Minneapolis Police Department, wanting to get the information as far as how many officers who have engaged in excessive force and who have killed people and who have even abused their wives and significant others are still on the force.
Other than asking for an audit of these police departments, they also asked to change the way police train around the state, specifically calling for fear-based training to be phased out. They used this gathering to really open up a conversation about how all the communities need to bond together to fight police brutality. At this time, former Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor is out on bail. He has pleaded not guilty to the two charges he faces of third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. He is due back in court in September. Guys.
All right, well, thank you, Sharon. Justine Damon is also being remembered this weekend in her native Australia. Her family gathered on a beach in Sydney for a silent vigil at dawn, laying flowers next to Justice for Justine sign.
On the way to the beach this morning, the kookaburras were laughing. When we got here, we experienced this beautiful sunrise. Justine, because of her senseless killing, will never see that sunrise or hear the kookaburras again.
Damon's father says her family is now waiting for judgment in the case.
We've got an update on the 16-year-old who was shot and killed by deputies.